All right, everybody, welcome back. I know it's been a bit since I streamed, but yeah, I'm back and been working on a new project for the last week or so called Fit Check. And I'll kind of give a quick demo after I explain what we're about to do here. But it's basically just a React JS slash Inertia JS front end with a Laravel backend, and it will allow people to post basically two photos of themselves wearing different outfits, and the community can vote on which one they think is better. So there will be no commenting, basically no way for any cyberbullying to take effect, because there won't be a way for anyone to communicate with the person who's posting the photos. It's basically just which one of these two looks better. That's it. So I do have an operating version of it. It's not really been made public yet, but it's functional, and I'll show that in a minute. But what we're going to be working on today, to give some context of what we're about to dive into, is we want to add some notifications, because right now things just kind of happen in a void. And so what we want to do is we want to make sure that users are told when something interesting happens. So for right now, that's just when their outfit gets a new vote, but that could be other things in the future. So we want to basically build like an alerting system for that. So the site itself, if we go into Arc here, it's basically, this is the interface, and all you see is two photos, and you just click on the one that you want to vote on. I'm not logged in right now, so it's going to take me to the login screen. But basically you click on one, and that's the vote, and then it shows you a new pair and a new pair and a new pair. Every time you vote, it just shows you a new pair until you've basically seen all of them. So it's a very simple site. It is technically public at fitcheck.me. I will be working hopefully in the next little bit here to do some promotion of it, maybe through some influencers or something. I'm not entirely sure how we're going to do it yet, but yeah, right now there's literally, I think it's just this pair of photos on there right now, just my ugly mug. But eventually, hopefully we'll get, hundreds of people looking, on a Friday night to figure out which one they should wear out to the club or to a friend's party or whatever. So, so the idea is, at some point up at the top top right here, we're going to have some kind of notification saying, hey, you have people have been voting on your outfits, right? So I think that's kind of an interesting way, or a good way to get people interested in the site and bring them back. So technically, how we're going to go about this is we're going to do a few things. Number one, we're going to create this alert model, and it's going to be a polymorphic model. So the idea is that right now we're just alerting on a pair has been voted, and that's the kind of concept of a pair is two sets of outfits. So whenever there's an action being taken on a pair, you should get notified that something happened, right? Someone has voted on that pair. And the other thing is, you can have like a person, like an individual person can have multiple pairs of outfits posted if they want. They're not just limited to one pair. If they want to post 4 different photos, they can, right? So we want to make sure that anytime a vote is cast, we create this alert instance and link it to the pair. Like I was saying, the alert should be morphable, which in Laravel terms just means it works as a polymorphic model. So like I was saying, we might want to extend this to other types in the future. Right now, we just care about pairs, but in the future, maybe there's other features that we want to alert on. So let's just future-proof that a little bit, because it's fairly easy to do, and then we can extend it later. We also want to track the last time that the person saw the message or the alert, because if, for example, like let's say I post a pair of outfits, I go away, and between me posting them and coming back to the site, let's say in a couple hours, maybe 50 people have voted on them, who knows, whatever, right? I don't want to send that person 50 different alerts, right? That's just going to be too many, right? So what we want to do is we basically want to say, in the alert that kind of pops up at the top, we want to say like 50 people have voted on this pair, and 2 people have voted on this other pair that you have, kind of thing. And so we're never going to delete those notifications, but we'll kind of mark them as red. And so we'll be marking them as red by basically saying, if you've seen them, you've marked it as red, kind of thing. So the way we're going to create these alerts is we're going to create an event in our event service provider, and then we're going to listen to it. And when that event happens, like for example, a vote is cast, that's what's going to create this alert model to generate it in the background, because it doesn't need to be exactly real time. Like, we want it to be close, but if it's happening in an async thread, that's fine, right? Like, if the person doesn't see the alert for 2 or 3 seconds after we see it, that's fine, right? Like, there's nothing life altering about one specific alert. The other thing is, we will build an email system, or an email notification system, to send them notifications that, hey, your outfit is getting noticed. But we also are not going to do that at all until the person opts in. I'm very much privacy focused, as everyone knows. So the first time you upload a set of photos, it'll prompt you to say, do you want to get email notifications? If so, great, we'll send them to you. If not, that's totally fine. We'll just do the on-page notifications, and you'll just have to come back. And then we'll also have to have a toggle that says, like, if you're subscribed to these email notifications and you want to turn them off, just the quick toggle, done. And then conversely, like, if you decided at the beginning, like, you don't want to get email notifications, but you decide later, like, hey, I would like to be notified kind of in closer to real time rather than having to check the website, you're allowed to do that too. So obviously we're going to have to add this notification icon in the NavBar, and highlight any unread alerts. My thinking is, depending on how active a person is, they may have 10 or 12 different outfits, right? And so we want to only paginate with like 10 entries at a time, and add some kind of infinite scroll, kind of like how, I don't know if you're familiar with the way Facebook does it, but like when you click on the alert bell, it'll show you a few, and then if you scroll, it'll grab more, like further in the past, and then further in the past, and further in the past, going back. So we'll have to figure out how to do that. I know how to do the paginate stuff. I've never done an infinite scroll, especially with React. So this is going to be a learning process for me. And then one thing I'd like to do for myself is, just because this is a new site and I want to kind of see how things are going and if people are signing up, kind of thing, I want to get notified every time a user signs up or they post an outfit, regardless of how many they have. I just want to kind of get an idea of how active the site is, kind of thing, at the beginning. Those will eventually go away if the site takes off. But at the beginning, I'd like to know, like, is it one person signing up per day? Is it 20? Is it 100? Is it whatever, right? So again, this is more than one stream's worth of work. But I wanted to get started on this today. I'm guessing this is probably part one of maybe 3, maybe 4. I'm not sure. Hopefully it won't take 4, but I mean, I could see this taking three streams worth of work to get this all working, because it's been a long time since I've done anything with polymorphism. Doing the filtering and the sorting of the notifications is going to be a bit of a brain thing for me. So I mean, we'll just kind of dig into it and see how we go, and just see how far we get. I've got about 3 hours or so today. I hopefully will be able to stream again later this week for whatever we don't get done today. But yeah, we'll just kind of take it day by day and see how it goes. So I guess we'll just hop into the code here. Let's make this a bit bigger so it's actually visible on the stream. That's a little too big, maybe. That's better. Okay, so let us open up a terminal. And we are going to create the alert model. So art make model alert. We want MCF for a migration, factory, and controller. And we also want a pest test for that. Cool. So let us, how do we want to do this? So alert test, I guess we'll do here. Why is that? That is annoying. Okay. So what do we know about alerts? They are going to, it has a, what do we want to say? Like a type I'm just thinking about the polymorphism. So like effectively what we're going to want to do is we're going to say like, so a pair alerts, or no, sorry, my bad. We're going to have like alerts equals alert type. I don't even actually know off the top of my head how the relationships work with these polymorphic types. It's been, like I said, it's been a very long time since I've done this polymorphic relationships. Here we go. Okay, so it's not a one-to-one. It will be a one-to-many. One-to-many. Okay, so, okay, so it's, so, okay. So it has, okay. What this is showing here is like the comments. So this is the comments table and the commentable ID and the commentable type. And so this is what I was thinking about is what the field is supposed to be called. Apparently there's a convention for it, so that makes it easy. So it's basically just the singular version of the table name. And what this will be is, so this would be like the type would be like a post, like an app slash models slash post, and a commentable ID is the actual ID of the post, or it would be like app models videos and then the ID of the videos. And so that's how Laravel knows to use the correct morphing type. So it looks at this type here and then says, okay, get me the ID of that type. So it would then look up at the videos table and look at the ID, or the post table and look at ID. So, so what we want is we want to say it has an alertable type and ID. Actually, you know what? Let's just say it has an alertable. Actually, it is alertable if we're going to use correct grammar here, which is always important to me. And so, so it's going to morph many, comment. And so alert. Okay, so that's the model structure. And then, okay, so then I see. Okay, so then when we get the posts, it knows about the model, and then commentable, comment. Okay, so we want to say alert. Okay, how do we want to do this? So it is. Because this is like this is if you have the post relationship, so it's going to morph many this comment. Obviously, we're not doing posts; we're doing alerts and pairs. So in our case, like this comment is going to be the alert, and the post is going to be the pair. So it's going to morph many the pair with. Sorry, it's going to morph many the alert and alertable, and so okay. Let's go like this. One of many. I just want to make sure that we don't need this morph one. No. No. Okay. So we want to say it is alertable. Yep. And so the alerts are going to be alert first. Alertable, alertable. Okay, that's fine. Because yeah, we're basically going to be copying like this, going from this direction right now, and then we'll eventually be going doing the other way backwards. But right now, just this one for now. So we'll go alert. Okay, and so we will say. So this is actually going to be, we're going to test this on our pair. And we want to say, actually, so what we really need to do is we need to say pair equals pair, get our input, pair factory create, yes. Okay, and then so what we want to do is we want to say, pair. Let's say add alert. How do we want to write this? So if it's been voted on, we have the pair model. And we want to add an alert. Let's see if this is going to work. We'll see. And then we want to say alerted equals first alertable. And we want to basically expect that alerted to be instance of pair and to be pair. Okay, so this is obviously going to fail because we don't have anything going for this yet. Definitely don't need that. Okay, so that's going to fail. Yeah. Call time behind method. Yeah, that's fine. So let's go into our pair model. Let's just put that over there. And over here, we are going to say function add alert. And we're not going to return anything. And so we are going to say this alerts create. Yep. And then we're going to have to add the relationship. Function alerts. And it's going to return, is it a morph many? Yes. Morph many. It's going to return this morph many alert class alertable. Yep. Okay. Add user assignment. Okay, that's fine. So let's hop over to our alert model and add the user ID. Protected fillable. User ID. What else are we missing? Okay, has no column user ID. Okay, that's fine. So let's alert table. So we're going to have to add a couple things. We're going to have table is going to be foreign ID 4, yep, and user class. And we're going to need a what is this? An int? Yeah, integer. Actually, so the reason I'm saying ooh is so in this example they're showing the ID as being an integer, but I believe in my code here we have a pair. So the ID is actually a UUID, so we're going to want a UUID table, not an integer. So it's going to be UUID, and this is going to be alertable ID. And then a table string of the alertable type. Okay. What else are we missing now? Failed asserting that null is an instance of class models pair. Okay, that's okay. Let's figure out where we're going wrong here. So, this alerts create user ID. Yep. Let's go dd pair fresh. Pardon me. Okay, so the pair exists. Okay. What about the alerts? Do we need to do like a get on here? Yes, we do. Okay, so alert first. Okay, so what is this one getting? DD alerted. null. Okay. Right, because alertable is not a thing yet. So we need to add that to our alert. So let's say protected. No, we want function alertable is going to be a morph to. Yep. And we want to say return this morph to. Okay. Save that properly. And now if we say alertable, that should be the pair. Yep. Beautiful. Asserting that the two variables reference the same object. Okay, so let's just go like this. Alerted ID to be pair ID. All right. Alerted to be instance of pair class, and then ID to be pair ID. There we go. Okay, let's put this on its own line. Okay, so this is basically this error we don't really need to worry about. It's a thing with Pest that it allows you to say, okay, so we're using the Laravel plugin for Pest, and it's saying, okay, it's intelligent enough to say like we're expecting alerted to be an instance of pair, which is what we do. And then if we say this ID as a property, it's basically attaching this property to the variable that we're using in the expectation. And so it's just a quick way to reference those things. So what this is really saying is like expect alerted to be instance of pair class, and then expect alerted arrow ID to be pair ID. So it's not actually an error. IntelliFence just doesn't know how to deal with it. So we can just ignore that. Okay, so it is alertable. Yep. Okay, so on the flip side, if we go to pair test, we also want to say it can create an alert. And what we are going to say here is yeah, acting as this user. So I think we have this pair. Yep. So if we're going to say, actually what we want is we want a different user. So let's go like this, acting user factory create. We don't want to be the actual user that's doing it. We want to be a different user because they're the ones that are going to be taking the action on creating an alert. So we want to say acting as a new user, pair, what do we want to say? Add alert. And we want to expect that pair alerts count is 1. Yes. This pair alert. And this pair alerts. Cool. Okay, so now we can be confident that a pair can create an alert and that the alert is actually being created the way we think it's supposed to be. So that's good. Okay, so let's go back to our notes here. So we've created the alert model. That's done. Okay, the next thing we want to do, anytime a vote is cast, we want to create or update an alert instance. So we'll have to create an event for that. The alert should be morphable. Yes, that part's done. We also want to track last read time. Okay, so create an event. And so what we're going to do is we're going to move this up here. And these can all be shoved in one. Cool. Okay, create an event. So we want to art make event vote received. Cool. Vote received. And yeah, we don't even need the broadcast on because we are going to be listening for that, I believe. I don't think we need to do anything other than that, right? Oh, of course, that's the only event we have in this one. Broadcast, we're not going to be broadcasting this, so that can go away. Guess we can make this a little bit bigger. Events, defining events, yeah. So, okay, so we need to take in the model of what we're talking about here. So we want to go public pair of pair. Yep, cool. Okay, and so that's the actual event, and then we want to create a listener to actually do the thing. So like when we receive that event, what do we want to do? So in this case, we're going to create the alert model. So now we're going to go art make listener, notify user. I say create alert on when event received. How detailed should we be? Send shipment notification, create alert when pair voted. Okay. And so now we want to go into our event service provider. Event service. Oh, this is the new way of doing this. So where do we register these? Okay, so we define them there. How do we register them? Registering events and listeners with events. This is going to be, we'll find register your event by scanning your, when Laravel finds any listener class that begins with handle or invoke, Laravel will register those methods as event listeners for the event that is type hinted in the method signature. Okay, so maybe we don't need to even do this. So that's even better. So the idea is with our listener, so if we say create alert, so in the handle method here, we can say, so we're going to take in a, vote received, vote. And so the vote, this is going to be, actually, let's name this the same. So this is going to be the vote received event. And when we get the listener, where is the actual data within it? Queued event listeners, don't care about that stuff right now. Dispatching events, event subscribers, defining listeners. There is a property on the event object. Okay, so it's basically saying the event pair. Okay, so that's cool. So we're going to say event pair, yep. And we're going to create an alert. Okay, so the way this all works is the listener is listening for this vote received event. When it gets the event, when it sees that the event has been dispatched, it's going to take in the event, and the pair that we're referencing here is the pair that we're referencing in the constructor here of the actual event itself. This is the vote received event. And because it's taking in the actual class of a pair, we can just do things on that pair. So like this is the event, this is that pair model, and now we can add, and this should be add alert, not create alert. So that should work now. So I guess we should probably be doing this in the correct order here. So let's go like this. Do we want to put it in this test? Yeah, probably. No, you know what? Let's put it on our vote. Vote test. Okay, so actually we want to I'm going to fake the events because we never want to actually dispatch these here. We're also going to fake out the mail just to be safe because eventually we're going to be doing that too. Event fake, mail fake. Okay, so what we want now is we want to say it dispatches an event when a vote is created. Yep. And so what we want to say is something like this fit add vote assert dispatched vote created. Yes. And we want to update this to assert not dispatched because we want to make sure that we're only ever dispatching it once the vote has actually been cast. Like this specific event, this specific action, this add vote is what we care about here. So this should be vote received. Okay. So of course this is going to fail because we're not dispatching this vote, or we're not dispatching this event yet. But that's okay. It's not being dispatched. That's cool. Okay, and so if we say vote, pardon me. So actually what we really want to do is we want to create a vote observer. And that's what's going to actually watch for the vote actually being created. And once that's been created, then we can dispatch the event. So let's go like that. So let's say art make observer vote observer model equals vote. Yep. Vote observer. And so on the created, once it's been created, we want to say dispatch new vote received, and we need the pair, so it's going to be the vote pair. Cool. Okay, so we run that. Oh, that's not the right test that we care about. Vote test, this is the one we care about. Okay, so why is that not being dispatched? Dispatches an event when a vote. Oh, because I believe now. Oh, actually, let's go take a look. Do we need to register the observer? I know we used to, but are they being auto detected? Right. Okay. So if we go vote, so it's going to be observed by vote observer. How do we have to reference it? Okay, so it's in a array vote observer. Okay, let's go take a look at our test now. Okay, so it's still not being dispatched. Now I have a feeling this might be the problem with. So let's see if this observer is actually being called, because I feel like there's a something I was dealing with before. Yeah, so the observer isn't actually being called as part of that path. Okay, so then let's do this. Let's go to our fit and add vote. Let's just put it here. So we'll say this fit, this pair, and we need to import received. Cool. The vote observer, we can actually just get rid of. So observers, vote observer, yep. And our vote model, we don't need to watch that anymore. So let's try our vote test now. Call to undefined method, vote received, invoke. Okay, so at least we're getting further here. Invoke is going to be a void. Expected event was not dispatched. Okay, so let's close this. Let's go over fit. Let's see here. DD. Hello. Okay, so it is doing that. So the dispatch is what's not working. New vote received this pair. New vote received this pair, so it, we shouldn't have to do anything in the actual event itself. I don't think. Defining events. Yeah, that's interesting that it even needs this invoke model because it should. Let's take a look at these. Dispatchable, dispatch. That's the serialize model, and serialize. This is not going to have the invoke. Yeah, I'm curious, like in this example, they don't actually have any handle or invoke method, yet it's expecting one, which is interesting. Yeah, they're just doing the promotion inside the constructor argument. That model's pair. Close some of these down just for now. And listeners don't take anything in the constructor, they just take the handle. Let's do should queue, because we definitely want that to queue, because it definitely does not need to be time. It's not time sensitive. Don't care about that stuff. Manually interacting with the queue. Like, I don't think we need to do like queue fake, do we? Oh, let's try it. No, still not dispatching. This fit add vote is right here. Vote received. Let's see if we're getting into the constructor here. I don't think we are, but let's take a look. Oh, okay, we are. Okay, so if we are dispatching there, call to undefined method. Like, why? That's very interesting. Asapi, Asapi. I'm not sure how to pronounce it, but yeah, thanks. Glad to have you here. Make listener want to vote with the event. Yeah, like this should. received. Create alert when pair voted on. I feel like the name might be causing some issues. Send shipment notification. No, it should be fine. How do they have them worded? Send shipment notification. Deliver. Send vote notification. Send vote alert. Send vote alert.php. Still don't think that's going to solve our issue, but at least it's a little more easy to read. Call to undefined method. It's very interesting because they don't have even an invoke method on their example. Hold information related to the event. For example, let's assume on order shipped event receives an Eloquent ORM object. Yes, we're doing all that. Contains no logic. Exactly. It is a container for the app model's order instance that was purchased. Exactly. So why? Dispatching events. Okay, maybe I'm calling it wrong. So instead of dispatch, let's go. And it's the order shipped, so it's the vote received one. So vote receive, dispatch this pair. This might solve the problem. Yay! We have an event being dispatched now. Hooray! Okay. So the next thing we want to say is it creates an alert when a vote is created. And so now we want to say, and actually we can probably just wrap this up in one thing here. Since this is basically all part of the same test, we can say, what do we want to do? We want to say expect alert all to have count 0, yep. And then expect it to have a count of 1. Okay, well, we're getting close there. Actual size 0 matches expected size 1. Okay, so it's not doing anything with the alert. So send vote alert. So this is not happening for some reason. So let's go dd hello. Nope, still not getting there. Implement should queue. Now I'm curious if that's going to cause issues with this. I don't think we need to use the fake the bus, but how do we, okay, so test, alert dispatch, blah, 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 start not dispatch. Okay, we've done all this stuff. Actually, we can probably add another one here. So let's say event assert listening, and we want to be listening for the vote received. class, and it's the listener is the send vote alert class. Send vote alert class. Yeah. So yeah, so it's still failing down here. It's good. Okay, so why is it not creating an alert? Let's take a look. I think it said there's 0, so it's like it's not doing any of the actual creation. Yeah, so there's no items in there. So this is definitely not being called, but I'm curious if that's an issue with, well, yeah, because it wasn't calling the DD. So this handle method is just never being called in the process of the test. So, subscribers, we don't care about that. Handling failed jobs. Laravel test listener. Let's take a look and see what this guy says. Okay, so we don't have to listen to those. They're just, it's done automatically. Event fake, we're already doing that. Notification mail. Ah, okay. So he's basically, this guy's just like literally creating an instance of the listener and then doing the handle event himself. Okay, we're going to do that too. So, because we're already asserting that it is listening, so we can be relatively confident that the handle method is going to get called as part of the framework. So we are going to say, listener equals new send vote alert. And do we need to type into anything in there? No. How are we doing that? Okay, so actually, I think we're going to make this a separate test because this is a lot here. So let's go. It creates an alert. Yeah, when it creates an alert when a vote is created. Yes. And so we're going to say event equals new vote received this pair. And then our listener is new send vote alert. We want to listener handle this event. And then we want to expect alert all to have count 1. And we'll fix the test above there once this works. Okay, cool. Okay, so let's go like this. Paste that. So right here, it should be 0. That's there. That can be closed up there. So that test should now pass. This test should now pass. And okay, so basically, as long as Laravel's listener system works, we've already asserted that it's listening here. And in fact, let's just go like this. Post it right here, just so that we can be confident that this thing is listening. So we can then just kind of fake out the rest of this test here. And so we're basically creating an instance of this event. We're creating an instance of the listener, and then we're basically just saying, do that thing and make sure that it's working. So we now have a vote alert that is executing. And so, yeah, like if we go dd hi, obviously this is going to work because we're manually calling the handle method. So if we go like this, hi, obviously, and then we nuke that, go back here, we have a passing test. Cool. All right, so let's go back to our notes here. What else we got? So don't even need to do that anymore. So that's cool. So create, update, and alert instance. Okay, so that's the next thing we want to do is we want to track the last read time. So when the person sees the alert, we want to mark it as read. And so what we're going to do here for this is, let's let's go back to our alert test. And so the next thing we want to care about is it has a last read time. And so we're going to say alert equals, actually, let's make it before each because we're probably going to need this more often. So before each, this alert, yep. And alert, okay, cool. And so we're going to say expect this alert last read at to be null, yep. And then we're going to say something like alert mark as read, and then we're going to say not to be null, and we want to say, in fact, let's be more specific here. Let's say to be yeah, let's go like that. Carbon now. So this is one of the nice things about Laravel is that we can go like this. So we can say carbon set test now is basically just going to like freeze the clock effectively. And then we're going to mark this in this way. So the issue, if we don't do the set test now, is let's say we're running the test on a slow-ish computer, like literally running the test on a slow computer. It's possible that running this mark as read and then this expectation might take a fraction more of a second, and the second might flip over. And so now the time that it was marked as read isn't technically the same as the now. And so what set test now does is it basically just like freezes the clock and it doesn't let it change, so that you can do like comparisons using just the now operator here, and expect that the time hasn't changed between when you did the thing and when you're actually validating it. So it's a nice little helper method that I love using. Okay, so that's fine. So we need to do a bunch of things here. So, well, maybe not a bunch of things. We need to go into our alert factory. So we need to do a couple of things. We need to, what do we need to do? We want to say last, market, last read at, yeah. Last read at is going to, I'm going to say, yeah, by default, it's going to be null. Okay. Okay, what is it not? What is it complaining about? No column name last read at. Yeah, that's cool. Alert table. And so this is going to be a table timestamp singular last read at. What's the next complaint? User ID. Okay, so we need to be logged in as a user. So let's do that. So let's say acting as this user equals user factory create. So now we'll have access to this user, and we're also acting as that person. We've got to import that function. Cool. And now, what is it complaining about? User ID, not null. Into alerts. Do I not have that? No, I do have it as there. So what's it complaining about? Oh, because in the factory, it's not doing that. Okay, user ID is going to be a user factory. It's a function. There we go. Now what is it going to complain about? Alertable ID. Okay, so we need to, if we're going to create an alert, we actually need to have something that it can be alerted on. So we'll say this pair equals factory create, and then so we're going to say, actually, you know what? We don't even need to do that. We can just go for ooh, probably won't work. That's interesting. Okay, so Laravel typically has some, what do I want to call it? Helper methods on their factories where you could typically go like for pair like that, and it would automatically generate a pair in the background. And but right now, because this is a polymorphic model, there won't be those helper methods, I bet. So we'll have to create one manually. Okay, Dosbra, just join what project you're working on. Okay, so the project I'm working on is called Fit Check. And so I can give you a very, very quick demo because it's a very, very simple site. You're given two photos of people, and people can upload two photos of themselves. The idea is like them wearing two different outfits, and people just vote on the one that they like more. So if you're going out on a Friday night and you can't decide whether you want to wear your jeans or dress pants or something, post two photos of yourself, and people can just very quickly vote, and you literally just click on one, and that's it. That's the whole site. So it's a React, Inertia, and Laravel project that I just basically came up with, started last week, and hacked on for a few days, and now kind of getting it ready to go live-ish kind of thing. So yeah, thanks. I've been thinking about an idea like this for years. It's kind of similar. I don't know how old my fans are or my viewers are, but there's a site back in the early 2000s called Hot or Not, and you'd basically just rate a single photo, which I think is kind of not great for people's self-esteem, because if you get a lot of two votes, you're probably going to feel pretty crappy about yourself. The good thing about my site is there's going to be no comments, no way for people to cyberbully. It's literally just you get two photos and you just pick the one you like more. You just started learning Laravel. Honestly, I am very excited for you because Laravel is my absolute favorite framework. It is just like, to me, it is the dream. It's about as close as you're going to get to perfection for a backend framework and full stack, really. But yeah, you're in for a treat. Like, truly, I'm very excited for you. That's awesome. So this pair equals pair factory create. And so now what I'm curious about is I think we will probably have to do something like, yes, alertable type pair class. Yes. Okay, so now what is it going to complain about? Alert last read at, no. Oh, right, because if we say alert table, last read at can be nullable. Okay, mark is red. Yeah, that's right, because we don't have a method that does that yet. So let's say function mark as red, and this is going to return a void, and we're going to say this update last read at to now. Not that test. Don't care about that one. Sorry. Null is identical to an object of last read at. Do I need to? No, that's definitely not going to work. What am I trying to do? Whoa. Do I need to get it fresh? I think I might need to do that. Nulls. Okay, so it's still not that. Okay, well, this actually, yeah, why is that not showing up here? So let's take a look and dd this. Okay, so last read at is not being updated there. So do we need to do, let's go this last read at equals now. Last read at, okay, cool. That's getting the right type now. That's good. So let's go remove this DD and two variables reference the same object. Okay. To be instance of carbon. Null is an instance of class. Field asserting that null, but we know it's not null because we're doing this here. Not to be null. Am I going insane here? DD. Oh. I swear, every time I build a new model, I do that same stupid thing. I will learn one day. Okay, so there we go. So now it's not null. So now we can say to be instance of carbon class. Yep. And not to be null. Yep. And I wonder if we can actually do to be now. If we go carbon set test now. Is this going to puke? Probably. Yep. Fails asserting that the string is instance of class. Yeah. So it's not like in this. Because it's basically Laravel's casting. Do an object of class. To date time string. Is that the right one? Yes, cool. Okay, is this test passing? It is not. Why is this not now? Is alertable. Failed asserting that two strings are identical. So let's go dd alerted ID and pair ID. What are we getting for these? Why are these different? Let's go like this instead. Alert. Instance of pair class. Okay, so we want that. Let's do this a simpler way, and we'll say expect alerted. How do we want to check this? Why is this not being the same one? It's the first. Okay, so let's go like this. Expect alert where alertable ID is that to be count 1. That should pass. Okay, cool. Right, because the first one is now this one that we're creating the before each rather than in this test. So that's why it's messing up. So now we're just making sure that there is an alert for that pair somewhere in the list. We don't specifically care where. Okay, so let's go back to our notes. Whoops, don't care about music right now. Okay, so actually, let's go. Okay, so create an update alert. Okay, so we want to track the last read time, right? But this actually isn't going to work the way we're thinking, because right now we're not tracking how many times it's been voted on. We just want to see, we're just tracking the last time it was seen. So now what we want to do is we also want to increase the alert count. Like we'll have a count property on there. And so that will only be shown basically since the last time it was read. So we're going to say it knows how many times it has been updated since it was last seen. So we want to say so we want to go what is the syntax we want to use? We want to say just thinking a lot in my head here. So do we want to say pair add alert and then the add alert, I'm just going to make these comments so it's kind of, so I'm not actually coding here. So like, so the add alert is going to say, okay, is there an alert that hasn't been seen yet? If so, increment the count. If not, create a new alert with count 1. Okay, so let's actually go here. I just want to comment that out for a minute so it doesn't freak out that there's an error. I want to close this stupid no name file. Okay, so let's go into our pair, and what is add alert doing? So right now, it's just creating by default every time there's a new alert. But what we want is we actually want to say, I'm going to just comment this out for a minute. We're going to need some of that logic here in a minute, but that's okay. So we're going to say if how do we want to say this? So we want to get, what do we want to say? Is there an alert that hasn't been seen yet? So if those can be deleted because that's obvious, that's part of the create method. So if there is no alert where the alertable ID is this, and where last read at okay, you know what? Let's extract this into something better here. So let's say existing alert equals that. That's what that really represents. If there's no existing alert, we want to create one. Otherwise, we want we just want to update existing alert. We want to update and we want basically to be count equals listen plus 1, right? Oops. Okay. So how do we want to do this? We basically want to say so we have the pair and the alert is on that pair. Okay, so cool. So Actually, we're going to create this again because we want to see it start at 1 and then go to 2. So paste this. Okay. And so now we want to say pair add alert. Actually, we should just basically say expect alert count to be 1 because we've already I don't know what happened there. Interesting. We in vote test? I don't even remember where we were. Nope. Alert test. Yes. Okay, so yeah, by default it should already be at 1. And actually we don't even need to do this. We can just say pair add alert. So now we're going to assert that pair property count does not exist on this collection. Now, did I set up that relationship? I don't think I did. Oh, I did. Okay. Okay, so now it's 1. And then if we paste that there, expect it to be 2. Yeah, so it's failing. Now, why is that? So we're going to say alert factory. Oh, right. Actually, because we're not looking for a relationship. We're looking for actual property called count, which obviously is not going to exist right now. That's what we want or what we expect. So we're going to say count. We don't even need to set a default there either. Don't even need that one. What we will need is on the alert table, we will need an integer for the count. Table integer count default 0. Actually, we want it 1 because on the first one, if it's being created, we shouldn't have to add the count. Okay, undefined property morph many count. How do we want to do this? Okay. So alert count since last. Okay. Call it this. What is an alert in this project? So an alert would be like, you know, in Facebook where you have like the little notification bell and it says like 14 people have liked your photo, same kind of thing. Yeah, exactly. An in-app notification. Now, there will be some like an email component to this as well, but it'll be optional and not turned on by default or anything. But yeah, like the concept is like an in-app notification. Yeah. Count last word does not exist on this collection instance. Right, because that is we want the first one. failed asserting that 1 is identical to 2. Okay, so it's not updating correctly. So what are we missing here? Alerts, where alertable ID, and where null. So we haven't updated the last red at, so that should not be triggering. So let's go dump. How many times is that one triggering? 0. Fantastic. Okay. Is it happening on that one both times? It's not happening on either. Great. Pardon me. Okay, so it's getting there. Okay. Alert. So the first time it should be empty, right? Why? So if there's no existing alert, why is it not tripping on the dump? Oh. Okay, so is it happening in there? Yes. Okay, so it is getting in there once. Okay. And then so it's getting in there a second time. Count since last read. Do I need to do a fresh on here? Probably. One is failing that 1 is identical to 2. Count since last read. It's probably going to be the same thing as the other things. Let's just go like this. Count since last read. I think we can do that in Laravel. It's been a while since I've tried. Let's go save. Unexpected. Oh. Okay. There we go. Okay, cool. So now we're upgrading or updating the since last read. And so now what we want to do is we also want to say it creates a new alert instance. Creates a new alert instance, and this should already be passing, but I want to have a test that actually checks this to make sure that we don't break it in the future. Creates a new alert instance once the alert has been seen. Okay, so what we want to do is we want to say this pair add alert, and we're going to do this a few times. So we're going to say expect this pair alerts to be 4. Okay, so this should be fine. No, this pair alerts first, and then count since last read to be 4. Okay, so this should pass. Oh, right, because there's one being created already, so we want that to be 5. Yep. Okay, so that passes. Okay, so now what we're going to say is this alert mark as read. Actually, in fact, we're going to say this pair alerts first. Okay, that shouldn't break anything. Okay, that method exists. Good. So now what we want to say is this pair add alert. And now, darn it, that's what I wanted. We want it to be 1. Because once it's been seen, it's still going to show up in the list. We just want to create a new instance of the alert to start adding numbers on. 5 is identical to 1. Okay. So, this alerts where null last read at. That should be working. Why is this not working? Why is it not creating a new one? Because what we're basically saying is we want to get the alert. The first one here, if the last read at is null, so that's the first loop iteration through it, and we add 4 more, so it's a total of 5. And so we do this one once, we create this alert, then we update it 4 more times. And then we've set the last read at. So let's take a look at our alert. Mark is last read at equals now. Yeah, so that should be, oh, man, this fresh is going to kill me. No, this pair alerts fresh. Starting at 5 is identical to 1. Oh, because that is not checking the same one. Okay, so what we want is, we actually want to go like this. Let's extract this existing alert to its own function. So public unread. This is going to return a self, and it's going to go be this. Turn that, and then this unread. So let's unread alert. If there's no unread alert, we want to create one. Otherwise, we want to update the existing one. And so we can also now say this pair unread. This pair creates an alert instance, must be of type pair. App models alert. Right. We will extract that to the proper model in a sec. I just want to get this working first. So we type So at least the functionality there works now. Okay, so let's open up our alert model and let's pull this logic here. And we're going to say function get last unread, and it's going to be a question mark self because it can be nullable, and we're going to say return this, and this is actually going to be a static method, so self where what do we want to call this? We want to call this, is there a mixed? I don't think there is. String or an int of an ID. Unread. Okay, this should still pass. Damn it. Morph many unread. Because this is getting all of the alerts. We probably have to do this as a relationship type instead. Okay, so let's go to Laravel morphable and get the proper version for these notes. Okay, polymorphic. Can we do relation? I believe we can. Let's say unread last unread alert. And this is going to return a morph1. And so what we really want is return this morph1 alert class alertable. Yep. Yep. Where null is, we want to order by created at descending, and then we only want the first. That is almost certainly not going to work. Last unread alert. Last unread alert. All right, failure. Call to undefined method, pair unread. And so when we're adding an alert, we need to, yes, last unread alert. Undefined property count since last read. I beg to differ that property doesn't now exist. Let's just try running it anyways. Type error, last return must be of type morph1. App model alert returned. Ah, yes. So this is going to be an alert. Type error must be of type alert null returned. Yes, because that's sometimes going to be null. If this actually works, I'm going to be very shocked. And it does. Okay, cool. Let's kind of scary, but okay, let's just run all of our tests to make sure they're all passing. They are. Beautiful. Okay, so right, so we now have a way to check for if there is an alert that's been created and we just need to update it. Otherwise, we'll create a new one basically, which is awesome. So that's good. Creates a new alert. Okay, so let's go back to our notes here again. Okay, so if a pair gets multiple votes in between checks, we don't want to create a whole other alert. We just want to say this pair has been voted on X times since you were last here. That's done. Perfect. So the event has been created. Anytime a vote has been cast is done. Wow, we're making a lot of progress. I'm actually really impressed here. Okay, so send email only if the user has allowed us to send the notifications. I think what I want to work on right now is actually this one. The email, I would rather wait till later because it is the email stuff is optional, but the notification icon in the navbar is going to be happening for everyone. So this is something everyone's going to get benefit from. So let's take a look. So we are going to go, that is not what I meant to do. And while we're up, let's just update these quickly. Okay, so on our site, I have a vision of it just being another kind of section next to the let's go button here, and it'll be like a bell or something, and it'll change color. Like the background will go from like, I'm thinking like a blue to a pink if there's notifications. So let's go into our resources, JS components, and let's create a new one for a folder for our layout. And let's just call this notification.jsx. Notification.jsx. Cool. Okay. Export default function. Notification. And so what do we need to take in here? We don't need the, for the button, I think we just need the count for now, because let's just say count equals 0 as the default. So if there's no count, we won't display, we won't, like the button can be blue kind of thing. So let's just make a quick check here. So let's say return, it's going to create a div. We're going to say, right now, we'll just output the number. It's not going to be there like that, but we'll just make something. Class name equals BG. Let's go sky. Let's say 500. Yeah, I like that as the default. And then actually, let's make this dynamic. So we'll say this, that, this count. Oh my goodness. I've posted a thing on the NeoVim webs, or I think the Lewis snip, sorry, the LazyVim repo about that error, because it doesn't like React for some reason. That error keeps happening about something about snippets, and no one seems to know what's going on, but a lot of people are having the same problem, so it's kind of annoying. Count equals 0. So we want to say, if that's the case, then BG sky 500. Otherwise, BG, oh my God, that's so annoying. Rows 500. Okay, so what is it complaining about? It doesn't like, oh. Okay, so that's fine. Okay, and then on our layout, so it's going to sit next to the action button. So let's put these in a div so that Flex doesn't break things. And then before the action button, we are going to use our notification. Cool. Okay, so that is definitely not what we want. Why is that doing that? Flex justify between class name equals flex. Okay, that's better. It's not nearly wide enough, but that's okay. We can fix that. Oh, and the other thing we need to take in is obviously the class names, so we can make them configure it from outside of this class. Equals that, and we are also going to say class name. That's not annoying at all. Class name, yep. Okay, and then so now we can style it from outside here, and we can say notification class name equals py. Let's start with 8, whatever. We're gonna change it, but whatever. Text white, font bold. Sure. Why is it not getting any of the padding on the px8? One day I'll learn my x and y. Okay. And then inside of that, we also want to say grid calls one, place items center. That was weird. And I just saw, I think like a bird just fall out of the sky by my house. That's not a bad sign at all. Okay, so yeah, that's generally what I'm thinking. And then if we say count equals 1, for example, it should turn pink. Yes, awesome. Love it. Okay, so let's go like this. Hover is going to be BG Sky 400. And this one's going to be hover BG Rose 400. And we also want to give this a border R2 border black. It doesn't. Man, my directions are just like out of control here today. 4. Nope. 3. Okay, apparently that's not a thing. All right. Whatever. Okay, so if we say 1, that's cool. If we say 0, awesome. Okay, so now we need to make this thing do something. And so we have this notification component. What we're really going to do is we're going to make this a little more dynamic and clickable and stuff. So what do we want to say? We want to say, so we're going to create a piece of state. And so we're going to say const open set open equals use state false. Yep. Import use state. Okay, and so so that is, I want to create a wrapping div around this because this is going to have to be set relative. And open, and we're going to have another div that's only going to show when the state is set to open. Class name equals, how do we want to do this? Absolute, sure. And that's not going to do anything because we don't have an on click. So we're going to say on click, set open, blah, blah, blah. Easy. Okay, well, I don't know if you can see it up there, but when I do that, there's a tiny little thing up there. So we're going to say bottom 0, right 0. And we're going to say width 8th just to see if we're getting stuff in there. We're not going to keep it rows, obviously. Okay, it's showing up. So we're going to say that should be height full. Why is that? There we go. Okay, so click that. There it is. It's showing up in the corner there. That's fine. And so now what we can say is, I just want to make sure that that's bottom. There. Okay. So actually, let's make this 2 so it appears a little lower. No, that's not what we want. Where does that? Oh, so it's in setting it there. So we want it after. Yeah, that's not going to work for what I'm thinking. Okay, for right now, it'll just sit there. That's fine. Okay, so get rid of this. And I don't want rounded full. What I want is border to border black. And let's say so this is where we're going to need our actual notifications. Pardon me. So we're going to say const note. Okay, that's fine. And then we're going to have a use effect that actually goes and fetches them when they're clicked on. So we're going to say use effect. Those errors are going to destroy me, I swear. So use effect. So on the first time it's open, we want to fetch put it over there. Fetch notifications. And so I'm going to say const async. I don't know. Fetch notifications equals async function. Yep. Now we'll just get the. Oh, actually, you know what? We might not even have to do this because of inertia. Because I think. So if we go like this, notifications, and then we go. Okay, so right now we're obviously not using it. Let's just go like notifications dot map, and for every notification, oh my god, I'm just going to say notification for right now. Obviously that's not going to do much, not going to help us, but that's okay, because if we go to our web, under the main page, okay, so what we want to do is if auth check, yep, notifications equals yeah. Oh. notifications. I'm just thinking here now we're probably going to also have to track the user ID on the alerts. That's okay. Okay, and so notifications are null. Yeah. Okay, that's just going to be for the random one. We will extract this logic again to something like a piece of middleware to always fetch the notifications no matter which page you go to. I just want to get it working on one page, and then we'll figure out how to extract it to that middleware later. Okay, so this is going to hard fail. Interestingly enough, it is not hard failing, but there's definitely not going to be any notifications in there because that relationship between users and notifications does not exist. Actually, we don't need to make the relationship, because what we can do is, at least for, again, the time being, we will just say function notifications equals, it's going to return a collection. Yeah. And so right now, what do we want to say? We want to get pairs equals this pairs get. Yep. Then actually for right now, because we're just making this just work, we can say return this pairs with alerts. Yeah, because that's going to give us the pairs with the alerts as a, we want to basically invert that. So we'll go pairs equals this pairs get. Now, can we just do pluck ID without having to do, we do get. Okay, and then we're going to say return alert. We're in alertable ID. Yes. Okay. And so let's go into our React components and see if we're even getting this information. Probably not. Pair. Make sure we're going to the right thing here. Notifications are null. Right, because we're not logged in. So I'm going to create a new user that can vote on this one because you can't vote on your own stuff. So other user, Gmail. Cool. Save password, sure. We're going to say localhost 8025. So we can validate our email address. Okay, cool. Okay, so there should be table fit check alerts doesn't exist. Okay, we've got to migrate those because we've only been doing it in our tests. So alert migrate. Okay. Okay, so if I vote on this, okay, so there should be one. is so annoying. Pair notifications are an empty array. That's not exactly what we're looking for. Random. Let's take a look and let's see if the alert actually showed up there. It did not. Votes. Okay, so let's just get rid of that. I'll just open a new like incognito window here. So fit check.test. Log in as this. So the vote is there. There's no alert though. Vote. No. On a specific fit. Received. Yeah, so it should be triggering unless the event system. Oh, because it's queued. Damn it. All right. Okay, so art queue work. Yeah, so there's the 2 votes that go in. Refresh this page. There is a notification saying that we have stuff there. Oh, clicked on it, deleted by accident. Notification. Okay, so we are getting notifications here. That's cool. Okay, so one thing I'm just noticing here is we definitely don't want to include some of that stuff here. So let's go to our alert. And by default, we don't want to include a bunch of this stuff. So we can say protected hidden equals. And so what don't we want to include? We don't want to include the alertable ID by default. When it's being serialized, we don't want to include the alertable type. We don't want to include the created at or the updated at or user ID. And now that I'm seeing this, I'm realizing that we already track the user ID in that model, so we can actually create that relationship and get these way easier than what we were just doing. Last read at is fine. Okay, and so if we say go into our user model, so collections, notifications. Oops. Function alerts is a morph many, morph too many, no. Morph many, yes. Turn this, yeah, morph many. And so in our web route, no, sorry, in our controller, we can just say auth user alerts, I think. Notifications, none. Do we need to do this? Auth user alerts. Nothing. Okay, so what are we doing wrong here? In our user, no, that's the morph to one-to-one. It's not a one-to-one that we're doing. We're doing a one-to-many. So morph to and then morph many. Yeah, so we're doing this correctly, I believe. Morph many alertable alert class. Yeah. So that's the relationship. Just auth user alerts. See what we're getting here. Nothing. Why not? Last red at isn't being updated, right? We're not actually doing that yet. Alertable ID. So why is this not showing the alert? I guess I can make that bigger. Apologies. So we have a user model. It has alerts. The alert class is the correct one, I believe. Yeah, so it's just using the one in the app models path here. Morph many. What is not happening here? Eloquent relations morph many. Yep. We're using the this morph many. Yeah, and we should just be able to say like blah, 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 the comments, in this case, comments, right? So why is that empty? Oh, because the user ID is of who commented, not of the owner of that thing. Okay, so that was a logic error in our part here. So what's happening is when we are creating the alert, I mean, number one, this is definitely wrong. But what we actually need to say is oh no, that's right. So the user ID is this because this is referring to the pair. Yeah, I was thinking that it was using the user ID of the person who placed the vote and not of who owns the pair. So why is that not working then? Auth user alerts. Okay, let's check who it thinks we're logged in as. Okay, so original. Okay, so it's user ID 1. Relationships, alerts. It thinks there's none. Oh, because this is not this isn't the morphable relationship that we're dealing with here. Has many. It's just the straight up belongs to has many relationship for this one. So now if we refresh this, relationships, alerts, there should be one in here. Yes, there we go. There's the alert. Okay. So now we have access to that on the on here. So I'm curious if that's going to give us a lazy loading. What? Does not exist. That's interesting. Okay, so notifications, cancels last read. So this should just show the things that we care about. Yeah. Right, and it's hiding all those other fields there, which is good. Okay, so what do we want to do? We want to auth user alerts, notifications, yes. And so if we pass in the notifications equals, what is it being passed down? Notifications, yeah. Yes, 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 I know. Now I'm curious if there is a way auth user alerts. Cool, so we don't even need to attach it there, which is awesome. So we can get rid of all of this. So D3D, this can go away because, and I might have gone through there too quickly, but it would appear that Inertia auto loads all the relationships that it sees on the model. Don't you have to do alertable as a class? No, so alertable is so in the table, the way Laravel does its polymorphism is it does, oh, actually, no, okay, so sorry. So in the as the class, the alertable is just saying this, and then it does, yeah, exactly, so we can just get notifications, and this is going to be user.notifications. Okay, and can close out of this and this and this, and we that sucks. Why is it hiding? That's hilarious. It's just nuking the entire page. So what is it blowing up on? Okay. Cannot read properties of undefined map. Okay, so we're not taking in notification. Oh, yes, we are. Yes, notifications. And we're going to say notifications. And if there are notifications, show something. I mean, there's more in there, I believe, but it's not exactly what we're looking for. That's okay. Let's go figure out what's in there. Console.log notifications. And in fact, we probably don't even need to post them through. Undefined. So what if we do this? No, because we won't have access to the user. So why is that? Doesn't like. Hot or not clone? Almost, yeah. So not exactly, but very close. And so the idea is you will upload 2 photos of yourself wearing different outfits, and people just vote on which one they prefer. So instead of like causing people like mental issues by like ranking their how hot they are on a 0 to 10 scale, which is just like cruel, all you can do on this one is just vote which photo you like more. There's no commenting. There's no way for cyberbullying to happen. It's just you're presented 2 pictures and you pick the one that you like the look of more. That's it. Length. User notifications dot length or that. components. Let's go back to our pair. Auth user. Like it was there 2 minutes ago, was it not? Auth user. And it's like the alerts disappeared, which is odd. Okay, what are we not doing here? Why did it stop working all of a sudden? What's my release plan? So I don't have a plan as of yet. I only started hacking on this like last Tuesday, so it's been basically like 7 days since I started working on this. I like broad strokes. The idea is to reach out to some like TikTok influencers, like the ones who do fashion videos and stuff. Same with like Instagram Reels, that kind of thing. And if this all kind of works the way I want it to, what I want is to have a bunch of them kind of post in on like a live stream on a Friday night as they're kind of getting ready to go out for Friday night partying kind of thing, so that all the people on their stream can um, kind of hop on the site and vote all at the same time, and hopefully kind of generate some, like if we get, let's say I'm going to say 10 influencers all posting at the same time at there'll be, and let's say they each have 100 people following them, that's 1,000 people that are all using the site and voting all at the same time, and hopefully some of them will post some of their outfits and share with their friends. So that's kind of the big broad strokes. I don't have an exact plan yet because, like I said, I only started working on this a week ago, but that's generally where my head is leaning towards anyways. Okay, so yeah, like why did this um property all of a sudden stop just appearing? Don't know enough about inertia to know like if there's a flag we need to set on a relationship to have it always appear. Inertia, oh, not inertia JS. Authentication. Authorization. Yeah, this is probably a Laravel thing, so I'll have to go dig into Laravel docs here. So if we go inertia, inertia always attach relationship. That's funny. Shared data. Fetch more data. Ultimate guide to inertia JS. So install the core elements, blah, blah, blah. Don't care about this. This is all view, but I think this is going to be a Laravel thing that's not attaching the data, so I don't really care which CSS framework or JavaScript framework they're using. URLs, progress indicators, scroll management, SEO tips. Yeah, like I don't understand why. Like it was there. The only thing I'm wondering is if it had some kind of intelligent, um, I don't know what you'd call it. Like it saw that the thing that we were doing referenced the user, so it also makes it available through the user model, like as kind of like a convenience thing. Pair controller. Let's put this stuff back and let's see. Notifications. Okay, so that's there. And it does. Okay, so that's interesting. So what it's basically seeing is that the notifications are attached to the auth user, and so it's also making them available to the user model, but it's only doing that for things that it's already been called on. That's interesting decision, I guess. Like it's helpful, but yeah, I don't know. Okay, well, whatever. So we are going to say auth user alerts. So user notifications. So this is going to be actually, no, we're going to use the non-magic one. So now does that mean I need to pat? Oh, it does. Ugh, that's even worse. Okay, so what I'm thinking about is like, okay, on this layout, this layout is not what's being called. What for Inertia, you'd call this pair.jsx, and then it injects the layout with some data, and so like, oh my god, that's ugly. User dot alerts. Okay, well, I mean, it's working. And there's the word notification that we were expecting to see. If I delete that, and there should be none. Okay, well, I mean, it's working, but man, that is not my favorite. So I'm curious now if because right now we're loading this here. I'm just thinking about like how we're going to extract this to a middleware. And so if we say art make middleware load notifications. Load notifications. Yeah. Like I'm very curious if we just like we're not going to use this variable anywhere. I'm just curious if this is actually going to do it. Like if it just needs to be loaded somewhere, or if it needs to be like if it's part of the inertia render that's the only time it sees it. Yeah. Oh, right, because I deleted that one. So we'll go fit check.test. Oh, right, because there's, so we got to say if auth check do this. What is it complaining about? Reading alerts. Out user alerts. What the hell? I feel like I'm taking crazy pills. JavaScript object check if key exists. Yeah, it was has own property. That's what I was thinking. Cannot read properties. So oh my god. Shit like this that makes me just want to leave JavaScript in the dust. Like it's so stupidly frustrating. Okay, so votes. Got to get rid of that because you can't vote twice on the same thing. Okay, so yeah, so the middleware is not attaching it. Okay, good to know. So how do we, aside from like setting it in the session or something, Laravel add inertia data via middleware. Manually share data using the inertia share method. Okay. So we want to say share. Okay, so it's literally just that. Okay. So we're going to say inertia share notifications. So now if we check, they're going to be, oh, right, we got to actually call the middleware. So let's go to our Bootstrap app file. Say app, I'm assuming this path app, HTTP middleware, load notifications class. Okay. Well, it changed to 1, so that's a good sign. And it's showing up there, even though notifications is null, which means that we can delete this and that, and it will only ever show up on the user model. Awesome. Cool. Well, we're all learning something today. Oh, it's actually available now because I was double announcing that, or double assigning that variable. You do all this UI as well, including so the login stuff is just the Laravel Breeze starter pack. I customized the design of it, but it's like all the functionality is built into Breeze. So it's just a first party package from Laravel that does all the auth, and it includes stuff like obviously like proper username and like password hashing. It does OTP, so things like your Google Authenticator QR code 2FA stuff. They also have another package called Socialite, which integrates with Breeze. And so Socialite is what we're going to be doing later, not today, but like in another stream, where you can hook into other providers' OAuth systems. So like your login with Google, login with what Facebook, whatever, all those. And there's providers for just a ton of different services. So like there's a TikTok provider, which is the one we're going to use. There's a Facebook one, there's a Google one, like any service that offers an OAuth service. There's probably a Socialite provider package for it. So that's obviously not going to happen today. But when things are working, so in the next few days kind of thing, I want to integrate TikTok as a login provider. I've already applied to get access to that system, but they have to approve it. So I only started that this morning. So I assume it'll probably take a couple days before they actually review it. So until then, we're just kind of stuck waiting kind of thing. All right. Pair controller all these can go away. So in our notification, so we now have access to the notification itself. And so now, what are the things that we're going to want on this notification? Because right now it's pretty simple. It just has an ID. And actually we don't, let's go back to our alert. And let's hide the ID too, because I don't even want that visible by default. The person looking at it doesn't need to know that. So what we're going to want is we're going to want to append. So every time we look up these alerts, we want to get all of the actual information that kind of goes along with it. So what I think we can do with this, and I've never actually done this with a morphable model, but this should work, is protected appends, equals. And so we want the alertable. So what is the actual thing that's being alerted on, right? Because, I mean, again, right now we're only alerting on a pair, but in the future, that could be anything. So we want to actually have an instance of the, oh, that sucks. I get arrayable attributes. So I guess we're going to have to create a method that will return that thing that we're alerting on. So we want to say like function alert. Get alertable attribute. Yeah, so it's looking for the alertable attribute. And a model. Yep. And we're going to return this alertable. Yes. Okay. Does that work? I'm going to find property alertable. Fantastic. I'm curious if it's just this name. So let's go like get. I'm trying to think of a generic name that won't overwrite something, so we can't be like get model or anything. Get alert. Alert. Referenced model. Referenced model. Okay, so now if we look at the notifications, the alertable is referenced model. It's the same thing, right? Yeah. Oh, and because we're okay, so the other thing right now, at least for the pair, is by default. I guess we can say. Okay, so what I'm thinking about is like, okay, so right now all we're given is this ID. We don't know what it is of, and we're hiding the alertable type. So if we hide the type, or if we show the type, I guess, stop hiding the type. And we go to the alertable reference model. So the alertable type now we can see is pair. How can we do this? What I'm thinking about is like how we're like, it's going to say like, someone has voted on your pair. And so we need a way to get like pair out of here. And so what I'm thinking about is how we can just, I'm thinking we're just going to have like a, So that's the model. And we're going to say function get referenced type attribute. This is just going to be a string. And so we're going to say return, I think it's get class. What's the name of the class? I think this will work. So this alertable, yep. And reference type. Okay. So in our notification here now, alert reference type. Okay, so it's still getting the full, pardon me, the full like fully qualified path of the class. And so I thought there was like, pardon me, is that a, no, get class name is not a thing. PHP get class name. There's probably like a flag that you can get set to say like, I don't want the, yeah. Because it's including the namespace and we don't want the, I don't want the namespace. I literally just want the thing. So get called class, no, not the parent class. Get the type, no. Yeah, this is, again, really ugly, but it'll work. So we can say this, get class name. So, I mean, again, this is going to work. It's not going to be pretty, though. And I want to rehide type here. Back to here. Let's go. Make this a bit bigger. Notifications. Alertable reference type is. What the heck? Notifications. Pair. Okay, awesome. And then the other thing we want to do is, in theory, so right now pair is an individual word, and that's fine for this instance. But what I'm thinking about, and this is probably a premature optimization, but there is, I believe, a string helper or helper on the string class that can take the word and then split it into what am I trying to say? Like into separate words. So, or take the name and separate it into words. So, for example, like if you have, if your class is like, I don't know, cell phones. Like if that's the class name, it'll turn it into cell space phones, right? Like it recognizes that the Pascal case is like the delineator for words in the class name. And so we should, there's, yeah, like these are all the string helpers. So is there like a split or something? Or sentence? Okay, split. Yeah, this is kind of what we're looking for, but I don't want the array. I just want it to return the like this the words as its own string. I want it to wrap. Okay, I'm going to spend like one more minute on this, and if I can't find it, then we're just going to leave it until we have to actually deal with it in the future. Length, blah, blah, blah. Position, place. Some of you might be already seeing this. I apologize if I'm an idiot. Title. Maybe title? Yeah, no, it's not splitting though. Okay, whatever. It's not, that's not nearly important enough to worry about this. So now on the notification, because we have access to this, the referenced type, we can basically say, and actually, so notifications are going to be all of those. So, I guess the other thing we need to be worried about is like what is happening, like what is the action that's being taken on it. So in theory, like the this is what's being alerted on, but it's being, the action that's being taken is someone's voting on it, right? Because right now we're just alerting on votes, but in the future, you know what? Whatever. We're gonna make it simple. Someone just voted on your notification dot referenced type. Someone just voted on your pair. That's generally what we're looking for. Yep. Okay, so what we need to do is this doesn't need to happen. Someone just voted on your pair. Okay, so now let's go like P4. How does that look? Someone just voted on your pair. Let's go. I want to fix this to be 2 pixels. There, now it's actually properly aligned there. That's good. Someone just voted on your pair, and we're going to make this a BG of white. Someone just voted on your pair. Yes. Let's say a min width of, I don't know, 200 pixels. I don't know. Is that normal? Yeah, that looks okay. We're going to say text SM, and we're going to wrap this in a span. And we're going to say class name equals font semi-bold. Someone just voted on your pair. Cool. And then do we want to make this a link? Probably back to our profile, because the other thing that you can see is, so like when we go to our profile, my profile, oh no, post new fit, you can see that if things are voted on, right, this is the one that we picked. And so it shows like how much people have voted on a particular one. So let's take them back here. So we're going to change this to a link. Link variable, yes, href equals route. This is, I don't remember which this page is called. Post the fit. Post a fit. Yeah. And so we're back on the home page. Okay, that's the other thing I want to do is I want to make that a button instead of a div. Since it's clickable for accessibility purposes, because we want to be nice to people. Just this button. And also change the mouse. Now it actually changes to the right thing. Someone just voted on your pair, so if we click on it, it takes us here. Cool. Someone just voted on your pair. Awesome. Okay, and so finally, the last thing we need to do now is when someone comes to this page, we want to show, or we want to clear those notifications, because right now it's still showing that, you know, I have an unread notification. So we don't want to see that anymore, right? Because we're here, we've seen it. We've seen the results of that photo so far. So we need to do one final thing, which is on the web route. We want to, on the post of a fit, and this is probably getting too thick to be in a route path, but for right now, I'm okay with it. If we add any more stuff to this, pardon me, then we're probably going to want to clear out the, extract this stuff to its own controller. But for right now, I'm okay with it. So we just want to say, so you have to be logged in here. So we can say auth user clear notifications. And obviously this is not going to work because it's not a thing, right? It's going to fail. We don't know what that means. We go into our user model and we say function, function clear notifications. I'm not going to return anything. We're just going to say this for each this alerts as alert, and we want to alert Mark as red, I believe is the right alert. Is that the name of the function that we called? Mark as red, yes. Okay, so in theory, clear notifications. So if we refresh this, we should have no more notifications. That is not the case. So let's go into Table Plus and take a look at our alerts. Last read at. Okay, so it's still, so it is updating that, which is good. Why is it being returned in the user model? Or in the notifications. So should we load notifications? And so auth user alerts, right? And so this is actually we actually want to make a different one of these because that's going to get all of them. So we want to have a different relationship. It's going to be unread alerts. Also has many. We're going to say return this has many alerts where null last read at, exactly. And so this one is going to check for unread alerts. We capitalize it, right? Yeah, unread alerts. Okay. So now, why is that still showing up? If auth check share notifications unread alerts. Right. User alerts, alertable. Yeah. So here's the problem. The data that we're looking for or looking at is on the layout. Let's just take a look at something here. We go user.alerts. Yeah. So even though we're in the layout, apparently we don't have access to the user, which is interesting. So the log user. Do we have access to the user at all? We do not. User is not defined at notification. Okay, well, what if we instead of doing this, let's do user. Yep. Get the count itself within the notification class. Const count equals user dot, what is it called? I think it's notifications dot length. That's hilarious. It's not complaining. It's failing. User notification. Is it use it dot alerts? Okay. At least we're back to normal. Okay. So user alerts is now available here. So we can remove that console log. And if we because now we are only loading the unread alerts. We're not sharing, like we're, User alerts. Yeah, this is all of them. So again, this is an inertia thing. Okay, so unread alerts is the thing. Okay, so we're just looking at the wrong count. So we want user dot unread alerts. Unread alerts. Unread alerts. Is that not what it said? I'm like 99% sure that's what it said. Okay, cool. Okay, so if we go to here, I want to start this, like this whole process from scratch. So alerts can go away, votes can go away. I don't know why it's doing that. Votes can go away. Okay, so I don't have the window open, so fit check test. Let's go. Log in. Log in. Okay, so right now there are no notifications. I'm gonna have to put like a placeholder in there if there's nothing. Pardon me. This one, let's pick this photo instead. Okay, so now if we go to a new page, is it marking it seen before we get a chance to do anything with it? Alerts, last read out is still nothing. Okay, so there should be something there. Components. There is an unread alert there. I think it's because we're not passing the data into this from this page. So if we go to notifications, right, because that should be the correct one. Yeah, so it looks like we got to pass it in from I was hoping there was a way we could like access it, kind of like the session in Laravel where you can just like pick things off. Inertia. Accessing shared data. Okay, so once you have the data source, access data. Const auth equals user page. use page props. Okay, that's kind of what we're looking for. Okay, if we do const notifications equals use page props. We need to import that from use page. Awesome. Okay, so that's how, okay, so we're learning stuff here. So when we share data using this Inertia share function, we can pull it off the page by using this like the const notifications, whatever we called it, use page props. Okay, so that's cool. Again, learning stuff. This is the first time I've ever used Inertia, so a lot of this is like new to me. So someone just voted on your pair. If I click on it, does it clear it? It does. Okay, so it still stays there for the first time. Okay. How do we want to say this? I think what I want to do is if auth check, if route, like current route. Basically, what I want to do is I want to clear the unread alert, clear the notifications before the person gets to the page, so it's like cleared already, so they don't look like they still have some unread ones that they just haven't seen yet. So what we want to do is Laravel get current route. Is it really just current route name? Okay. Route get. Yeah, I didn't think so. Yeah, these are all just like AI suggestions. Request route is post the fit. We can say auth user clear notifications. I know that's the thing because we were just looking at it. Clear notifications. So it's going to call this on this. So again, let's clear this all out and make sure all of the logic works. So alerts, votes. Guess I closed it again. That sucks. So fit check. No, we just want the local one. Fit check test. Log in. Okay, so we're going to vote on this one. And then we're going to see that there's, darn it. Okay, it was on the page already, so when I refreshed it, it did that thing. Well, I mean, I guess technically it worked, but later. I want to see the whole thing from like start to finish of the whole flow. So fit check test. One last time. If this works, then I'm going to get food. So this login. Okay, so we go to the home page. We vote on this one. Okay, so now we see that there's a notification. Someone voted on our pair. If we click here, it clears it before we get to the page. So now it shows that we have no outstanding alerts. So that's perfect. Okay, so let's go back to our notes here. Add a notification icon in the navbar. Yep, highlighted any unread alerts. This paginate we'll have to work on next time. send email only if that can be next time. Admin notifications, that shouldn't take very long at all. That's just setting up a couple of events as well. So, I mean, considering that we only spent a few hours on this, we made a ton of progress, and I am very, very happy with that. So, yeah, let's just review what we did. So we created the alert model. Anytime a vote is cast, we create an event, which is being listened to in the event service provider automatically, which we found out in a layer of 11. So it creates or updates the alert instance. The alert is morphable, so it is polymorphic. So right now we're only alerting on votes, or pairs kind of thing. But in the future, we can do other things as well. We also want to track the last read time. We're doing that. So this way we can kind of bundle the alerts so that like if 5 people show up all at once and they vote, it'll just say like 5 people have voted on your pair. So one other thing here is we want to do so display, okay, if unread count is greater than 1, show the number rather than just someone voted. And so, yeah, and then we built this NavBar notification icon, which will show who's or any outstanding notifications. And I think we're good to go. So thank you guys so much for joining me. This has been awesome. If you haven't already, I really appreciate a subscription on YouTube. So I'm youtube.com/@nexay_dev. You can see them all under here. I'm on Twitch at twitch.tv/nexay. And on Twitter, I've just started posting content on there as well at twitter.com/nexay. Yeah, thanks again so much for joining me. I will be back in the next couple of days here, probably once TikTok approves my application to log in with them, because then we can say log in with TikTok. So anyways, thank you guys for joining me. Have a great rest of your Monday, and I will see you in the next one. Later.